Yo, what's going on? Back at you with another video. Man, out here again. Waiting for this sun to kind of peek his head out. Kind of dry a little bit out here, so I'm leaving out a little bit late today. Just to try to, it rained last night, so I'm not trying to deal with all the sogginess and all that stuff. So I let it dry out a little bit. So instead of leaving about at 8:30ish or whatever, I'm leaving out close to 11. It's like 10:50. So let's round it up to 11. The sun's out. The wind's blowing a little bit. So hopefully, it rained last night again. So, and we're going to get more rain in the next couple of days after today. I think there's some coming in tonight again. So I got to get the rest of my yards done. I forgot to do this estimate yesterday, go by this place yesterday. And on top of that, I was dealing with Google. It always feels like a let me get you type deal. First of all, Google got a hold of me and said, hey, man, there's something going on with your page, Now, when I first got to Google years ago, they said, hey, $300, we'll make you a Google page. You can put your pictures on there, this and that. Start getting reviews. You're going to get some traction. People going to see you on the Google. Yes, it was like that. I was in Google. I was up there in the top 5 or the top 3 when you looked at Google in my area. And then all of a sudden, I probably haven't been paying attention to it, but you start seeing yourself disappearing on Google. Other lawn care companies are coming in and they're spending money to put themselves at the top and all that stuff, and and sooner or later you'll be at the bottom. You won't even be seen. So everybody's trying to compete to get noticed, so Google reached out to me and said, hey, we can redo your page, blah, 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 this and that, get you on where you're going to be showing up in your area and all this other stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, whatever works, I just want, people to just know that I'm out there. And I still get calls coming in here and there, but not like it used to be, right? So my thing is now, it's like, okay, what's going on? Maybe what they're saying is right. What they're saying is true. Which, after 10 years, eventually, nothing's forever. When they say for life and all this stuff, they on some crap. They got to continue to make money. They're going to try to make as much money off of you, just like anybody else. So when they say, oh, $300, you won't ever have to worry about it again. So now I'm getting the same thing. Now it's $220. Hey, we can fix this problem for you for $220. We can get everything back in order where, it's not, because your page is coming up as a red flag and all this other stuff that they were saying about it and all this. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Just get it back in order where people can see me and stuff like that. And okay, no problem. $220. All right, I'll drop $220. It's been about 10 years, 8 to 9 years since. It's probably been about 9 years exactly, or whatever. Let's just say 8 to 9 years that I had this Google page, and hey, maybe it's time to re-up and get things back in order after COVID and all this, and all these businesses went out of business and they're just stuck out there. They didn't say their business closed down. So now Google's coming back and saying, hey, is your business legit? Are you still there? Do you still exist? So it's basically verifying that you're still in operations. So they're like, to fix this problem, $220. Okay, fix the problem, $220. Go ahead. Okay, you're going to be contacted tomorrow by blah, 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 and they're going to go over some of the stuff. So I'm thinking, okay, cool, whatever. 9 o'clock appointment, okay, whatever. So 9 o'clock hit, you get this guy on here, he's talking. And then next thing you know, he says we can optimize or whatever you do, SOS. I don't know, send a signal to, who the heck knows? Optimization, blah, 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 all this other stuff. And I'm like, yeah, okay. This will put you on the page with all the other people and this and that. And now you pay a one fee of $999. And I'm thinking, man, I got to pay my business insurance. What are you talking about? $999. Y'all just told me, y'all just got me for $220, which years ago you said it was only going to be $300. And I would never have to pay this again. Now I'm paying $220 for you to fix this problem, to verify me that I still exist and all this stuff. So I'm just thinking like, let's do this. I'm like, hey, can we do this another time? Because at this point in time, I don't want to really spend the money on this. I know that if I get the traction of people coming in, I can make it up, but I don't want to pay an extra $1,000 right now, and then on top of that, to keep to keep you up there with the big boys and all that stuff, you only pay $199 a month. And I'm just thinking like, no, I don't want to do that. So I just fucking hung up the phone. I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. So they were calling me back and stuff. I just don't want to do that. I just paid you to fix the problem, to get my name back on there and make sure that I'm verified that I what's the name. Screw it, I'll go out there, advertise, go put out flyers and things like that and go about my business that way. I'm not about to do all that. I'm not in that stage where I want to just be giving up money right now to do that. Now, if I'm in a different position and I feel like, it's going to be, worth the while. So say for instance, my son or something takes over, or he wants to do it. And I want him to maximize the most, coverage of visibility that he possibly can, so that he can build the business up. Look, then I might fork out some money to generate more leads, more eyes on him, things like that. But for me, personally, nah. I could go door to door and try to get 10 people, 5 people, as many as I possibly can do. But I'm not in that growth mode where I'm trying to just grow my business, to be the biggest and the baddest. You know what I'm saying? So I just was like, man, let me just hang up on this dude, because they're gonna try to keep talking to you and trying to convince you and say, well, this, and this. And I'm like, I just don't got time for it. Y'all wasted my time. Y'all hit me with 1,000 talking about y'all. All I got to do is pay 1,000, and then I don't want to do all that. I got other things that I got to attend to. I got other things or resources where my money can be put to at this particular time. Not saying that I don't have it. I just not willing to do it right now. And I know they trying to do their job and trying to sell and things like that too. So I get that aspect of it. But man, everybody's not in the same space and at the same time trying to build their business, that you getting so much business that you're so overwhelmed. And I'm good right now. Just put it like that. I'm good right now with the way things are, and potentially of what I can make it be. So, you'll have these Google guys calling you, and Yelp and all these other people calling you and stuff like that to try to get you to sign on. They're going to get you more leads. You got the Facebook ads. You got all this other stuff. Everybody's out to get your dollar. And I get it. It's a business. But, man, sometimes you just got to bypass that and be like, hey, maybe next time. Give me a couple of months. Maybe next year. I don't know. Like I said, when my son, if he tries to start doing this and he wants to get involved a little bit more, then maybe I'll do that then. But, man, just fix my Google page. Let it sit there. People be running across it. I'm good with that. And let me be about my business. So it might be the wrong way of thinking about it. And I know I know the potential of having your face soon as somebody say lawn care in my area. Bam, there you go, like number 1 or number 2, right? Or number 3 or in the top 5. I know the potential of the business that could come because most people just look at that first page. Most people look at the first page and go from there. And half the time, those people on the first page don't even respond to their email or their phone calls or their voicemail, because every time I get a lot of people that call me, they say, "Man, you're the first one that answered the phone, or you're the first one that got back with me within 15 minutes or 10 minutes," or sometimes they say, "You're the first person that got back with me all day today." And I'd be like, man, you got all these companies out here in my area and they not even responding to some of these people's calls. So either they really busy or they just don't give a crap, They too busy to even, respond to some of these calls. So everybody going to get work, It's a time of season where, you're going to position yourself to be up there, and you got to pay the Pied Piper to be up there with the big boys, to be advertised and stuff like that. There's other people that pay hundreds of dollars just to advertise their business. And then some businesses pay millions of dollars to advertise their business. So let me get out of here, guys. I got to get started, and I'll see you on the next video. But yeah, I just wanted to tell you about that. Google, man, they just on some crap, man. Like, really, like, I wouldn't say that. I'm not even going to say that. They're just doing their job. They're just trying to make a sale, get business going, stuff like that, It don't make no sense, but it do make sense in a way. So, but let me get back with you. I'll see you on the next video. Don't forget to support the channel by subscribing, hitting the like button, and I'll see you next time.